Walk through any historic market in Maharashtra, and the air itself feels like a meal. The sharp bite of roasting chilies, the heavy scent of turmeric, and the constant hiss of hot oil draw you in from blocks away. In culinary districts like Muhammad Ali Road, century-old recipes have been passed down through generations. These streets are packed with crowds drawn by cooks who have perfected their craft over decades. These beloved street snacks and traditional comfort meals serve as primary sustenance for millions, the affordable, accessible nutrition that fuels the daily working population. Because this traditional ecosystem grew organically over generations, it has largely operated in a regulatory vacuum. Cooks relied on inherited knowledge rather than modern, standardized oversight. That lack of oversight left room for physical and chemical risks to creep into daily life. Unhygienic storage, slippery floors, and the adulteration of milk and spices became documented threats to public health. In May 2026, the state appointed Tukaram Mundhe as the new FDA commissioner. A 2005 batch IAS officer, Mundhe's career includes 25 past transfers, the result of a career spent prioritizing strict legal enforcement over bureaucratic convenience. His mandate was clear. He wanted to shift the state's entire regulatory philosophy. Instead of simply reacting to cases of adulterated food, the FDA would enforce proactive, standardized food safety rules across the board. This chart shows the immediate impact of that shift. In his first month alone, the FDA conducted 904 raids across Maharashtra, seizing banned gutka and pan masala worth over 34 crore rupees. This sudden, aggressive enforcement exposed a gap between the state's ancient cooking traditions and the uncompromising technical requirements of modern health safety. To bridge that gap, the FDA introduced highly specific hygiene regulations. Kitchens must follow strict guidelines for every step of cooking. To prevent cross-contamination, the FDA mandated a color-coded cutting board system, red for raw meat, blue for seafood, and green for vegetables. The rules also targeted chemical degradation in frying. A new mandate capped the use of cooking oil, making it illegal to use oil once its total polar compounds hit the 25% limit. This rule targets the practice of continuously reheating the same frying oil for days. As the oil breaks down, it darkens and produces toxic compounds that pose long-term risks to consumers. Another major target was packaging. The FDA issued a ban on the use of newspapers for wrapping or absorbing oil from hot food. While serving snacks in recycled paper is a common habit, the printing ink contains lead and other heavy metals. When hot, oily food touches that ink, these contaminants migrate directly into the food. These regulations establish a baseline of chemical and biological safety, targeting specific contamination pathways to reduce preventable health risks in commercial kitchens across the state. The enforcement of these rules was swift, and it immediately impacted common street vendors and local stalls that provide the bulk of the city's meals. But the crackdown also reached the most exclusive layers of society. Well-known establishments, including the Cricket Club of India and the MIG Cricket Club, saw their licenses suspended over food safety and hygiene lapses. In August, the campaign reached the legal system itself. The FDA inspected canteens inside the Bombay High Court, shutting one down for operating without a valid FSSAI license. By raiding everything from a corner street stall to the highest halls of justice, the FDA demonstrated that the mandate for food safety applies equally to all institutions. However, rapid enforcement created friction. Restaurant owners and hospitality bodies began a legal pushback, arguing that sudden business closures without warning were a disproportionate response to minor violations. The issue moved into the courts. Judges in Mumbai, Nagpur, and Aurangabad set aside several of the immediate closure orders, ruling that the FDA must follow due process before suspending a license. The courts noted that while public health is paramount, closure orders shouldn't be issued for infractions like slippery floors if those issues don't pose an immediate, exceptional risk to human health. This intervention led to a more balanced approach. The FDA began utilizing improvement notices, which grant businesses a specific window to learn and adapt to the new standards before facing closure. Maharashtra's food culture is integrating modern safety standards into its traditional practices. This transition ensures that the state's historic flavors survive in a future where safety is a documented, non-negotiable requirement.